So, I was waiting for a response.
Okay.
So, I'm Kevin, and we're here at the Fairview Arts Council, and it's actually connected to Kevin's Rock and Roll Emporium, and we're here with Michael Kelsh. How you doing?
I'm very good, thank you, Kevin.
All right.
So grateful to be here on your show.
Thanks for being here.
I love your shop.
Thanks. You're welcome to buy as many guitars as you want.
Here in Fairview, just the greatest place. And your shop happens to be with the Arts Council right here.
Yeah,
on the edge of town here.
we share the space.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's right next to the co-op. So if you need hay,
Yes, that's right.
Because it works. If you want to sit down and play guitar,
Yeah.
you got a bale of hay.
You're right in the area. Get all everything done at one time.
Yeah, and Grill Billy's is right across the street. So get your barbecue. So what do we have today? There's something in my hand here that you handed me.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Well, it's
in
an
a long
actual
time.
vinyl record.
Yeah. Are we
Came out
getting
a couple
reflection
years
off here?
back.
Can you see that?
Yeah, and
Mr. Producer, can you see that?
John is talking to you.
Can you see that?
He's asking me.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks for doing this, John. Taking care of us.
You're acing it. Yeah, and so this is your latest recording?
Yes, sir. It is. It's done in Nashville. It was done with Bill Halverson. Produced that. Bill is famous for having worked with Crosby, Stills and Nash, and Eric Clapton, and just a brilliant producer and engineer. Yeah, he did all kinds of stuff from way back when. And he lives in Hendersonville. Jack Sundred helped with that. He helped engineer that. Jack is in Poco, and just the sweetest guy in the world. Great songwriter here in town. You need to get him on this show to do that. Do an interview with him sometimes. Make some great stories. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Maybe what we can do is get both of you back with him.
Oh yeah,
and you can talk about the recording of this album and
that would be awesome. Well,
all the stuff that people aren't supposed to hear about.
right. If we got Bill Halverson here, it would just be we'd have to have an hour or two.
Okay.
Yeah,
We could do
okay,
that.
that would be great.
Set up a couple of hay bales.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
I think I'm wearing the same shirt.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's cool. Yeah. It's good. The people that you've got playing on here, you've got violin, mandolin, bass, and drums, lap steel guitars. Tell me about the people that you
Sure.
got to play on this.
Sure. Siobhan Kennedy is married to Ray Kennedy. Ray Kennedy is also a producer. He worked with Steve Earle for years. Everybody, John Prine, oh my God, you name it.
In my former life, I used to ship recordings for Ray Kennedy from his studio.
Is that right?
He did a lot of stuff with Lucinda.
Oh yeah, he produced Lucinda. When I first came to town, Steve Earle and Ray were producing Lucinda's record, Car Wheel on a Gravel Road. And so I was hanging out their studio all the time back then. That was when they were on 17th Avenue. Ray has since moved out of town from there. Tammy Rogers, who was in the Steel Drivers, she was actually just on the CMAs a couple nights ago. I saw her on there. Incredible songwriter. Jack Sundred, who I mentioned, Poco. Paul Griffith, great drummer. He played around town when I did this record. All I could think about was having him on there. Rick Lano is not on this record, but he said that I should have had him on here.
So he got the credit.
Yeah,
That's good.
And my good buddy John Cowan, who's probably my best friend here in town, did some vocals on this. John is famous for Newgrass Revival, his own stuff. He's in the Doobie Brothers right now. Just got off the road with them, and he lives in Columbia, Tennessee. So, we get a chance to hang out every now and then. Bob Delavante of the Delavantes did the artwork on this and the design. Right now, he and his brother, the Delavantes, just put out a record, and they have been promoting that around. It's been getting a lot of buzz around here. But yeah, those are some of the people that are playing on this.
How did you go about hiring or contacting these people to actually be on your record, to write with you or record with you?
They're my friends. And that's the thing. When I first came to Nashville, or I'm sure this is just kind of common knowledge, but the best thing that anybody can do is just get out, meet people, see people. They used to call Nashville the 5-year town, which meant that nothing really is going to happen for a while. And you start to, by going to shows, going to functions, and getting out there and playing, you start to rub shoulders with different people who are doing exactly what you're doing. And eventually you start working with them, they're working with you. And in time, you can also start to tell what it is that you are looking for as far as people playing and the parts that you may like. But the truth is, for this, Bill Halverson and Jack, they prompted me to do this record, which was really good of them. And then I knew I wanted Paul Griffith. I knew I was going to have Jack playing bass. And then just slowly, other people started dropping in. Siobhan, Ray's wife, who we were talking about earlier, she has been a star singer from Liverpool in England all her life. And I used to hear her singing with Steve. She sung with Richard Thompson. You know Richard Thompson, of course. Just wrote a million things. But she just has a beautiful voice. And I thought about her singing. We worked on a few things before that, but just the idea of her singing the harmonies on this was important for me, and it worked out so great. She's just so good, and our voices are very compatible.
Yeah.
Of course, she probably could sing with anybody. Her voice would be compatible.
Yeah, I think was it Dublin? No, Belfast.
Yeah, Belfast. Yeah, that's all right.
I can't say the same thing because I don't know the situation there. Is it Belfast? And there's another one or two on here where she's, is it like a back and forth or just a harmony?
Oh yeah. You know what? Yeah, there is one where we kind of go back and forth with some stuff. I forget which one it is. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So is that the only vocal additional? Oh, you got John doing additional vocals.
He sang
like
some
a feature.
harmonies. Yeah, and Jack sang a little bit. Jack sang a little bit on there, I think. But yeah, Siobhan, she did the heavy lifting.
Yeah,
on the harmonies on that, for sure.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
sounds very good. So, is there a selection or two from here or from?
Sure, I could do
these
something.
other CDs that you're
Yeah,
going to
we could do something. Did you want to talk about some songwriting a little bit?
Yeah, let's get into that first because
Okay.
that's where I was heading with
Okay.
the
Yeah.
people that you've got on here.
Yeah.
I got distracted by.
Sure. Well, and that's
I got vinyl in my hands. Holy cow!
So that's another thing that coming to town, I did all my own songwriting by myself. Rarely wrote with anybody, and everybody kept saying, "Oh, you need to write with somebody." They like to have co-writes in Nashville if you're a songwriter.
Why is that?
Well, there's a couple reasons. I think it's because two people know more people. They have more of a chance of it spreading to somebody. If you're writing with somebody who has some notoriety and they may already have a publishing deal somewhere, the chances of that going somewhere are greater. So, there's strength in numbers that way. The truth is, there are pros and cons of writing with somebody. There are a lot of songwriters like Steve Earle, Rodney Crowell, so many people that just are so good, and the choices they make as far as lyrics and music are concerned, that they don't need anybody else. And they probably have attempted to write with other people, have been successful, but at the same time, they probably realize they're better off just doing their own thing. I mean, even Dylan, Bob Dylan, has pretty much done everything on his own. But there was a period of time when he was writing with other people, looking for some more of a muse input from somebody else. And that was successful too, but it's weird. Everybody's got a different idea about how things should be. And I've had people that I've written with that are just, 10 times better than I could ever be. And they'll lead me in a different direction that had no idea, that I would go in. They'll come up with something. Here's something real quick. Just John Callan, my best friend on here, incredible singer, songwriter. But we were working on this one song, and it's I can't even. It's called "Just a Crazy Dream." I used to sit and wonder just how our lives might be, now falling under spell of what could never be. So you got that kind of a thing going. Those are a couple of verses going along, kind of working on that together. And then in the middle of the song, after a couple more verses, of course, kind of like, wouldn't matter, even if I thought we could somehow, we'd still be torn and tattered. I guess it's just a crazy dream. You do that kind of thing. So we'd be doing that. And then we try to think of a bridge, which is the middle eight of a song. They used to call it the middle eight. The Beatles called it the middle eight. It was like 8 bars in the center that kind of broke away from the whole idea of what was, what you had already developed. And so, a lot of times you might just go to la la la, just something a little bit off, different, and drop that in the middle of the song, and it breaks things up, and it also adds to whatever it is you're trying to say. Anyway, we're working on this stuff, got a little tiny bit of a break, and all of a sudden we're trying to think of something, and Callan goes to an A. This is a song that's in G, and it's like, it's too late to change that now, after all the things you said. Never last with la la la, let her follow this crazy dream. And it's like, it's so good, but I would never have gone there. Mm-hmm. And when I first heard it, I was thinking, oh no, that'll never work. I don't like that. But you wait for a second. And there are a lot of things that I didn't like right at first, but I love it. It's very, very different. John Hyatt, incredible songwriter. I think he's the king of like a bridge. He comes up with these incredible ideas in the middle of these songs that just go somewhere. He's kind of along the lines of Elvis Costello with those kind of things. Just brilliant stuff. But but talking about songwriting, if you want to be a songwriter, there are really no rules. If you find something that you like, if there are people that you like, listen to them. And if you decide to copy them a little bit or steal from them a little bit, Steve Earle says, if you're going to steal from the best. But at least you know where you're going with it. Jackson Browne, he says that, there's so many ways and different styles. He says that, talking about himself, he says that I write the same 4 songs over and over again, which is interesting because I think a lot of people do that. They have a set, a system that they've set up over time, and they kind of constantly, they don't even know they're doing it, but they're going back to that same place and writing that stuff. But just find what you want and don't let anybody tell you. I mean, take advice, but at the same time, don't get waylaid. Speaking of Lucinda Williams, when she started writing, she went to a publishing house and gave her 3 of the songs that she had written. And the guy said, there's not a chorus in these songs. You're just kind of writing over these 3 chords. So these will never work. And to this date, those are 3 of her most famous songs. Mm-hmm. You can't, if you listen to other people, a lot of times you're going to get waylaid in not a good direction. Yeah. You need to follow your own instincts with things. but yeah, it's just staying true to yourself, writing about things that you know, and yeah, if there's somebody that you connect with, that you feel like you could write with, then you should do that. You should do that. If you're limited in your musical ability, find somebody who's musical. If you're limited in your lyrical writing, then just find somebody that's a little more lyrical. Burt Bacharach, Hal David, those guys. You just
We'll just call them up.
yeah, that would be great, wouldn't it?
Hey,
Oh,
Hal.
yes, yes. Yeah, Burt did all the music and Hal did all the lyrics, and that worked out quite well. Yeah.
That was John Bernie talking.
Yes, absolutely. I think what the famous story is, they'll put an ad in the paper, and Bernie Taupin answered it and gave him some lyrics, and the rest is history. Yeah.
So I'm not sure exactly how many people are watching right now, but eventually there's going to be it may spread to other people, and we'll find out that
There's just a couple 100,000 right now.
Yes, hello
Yeah,
to all.
But
all your
it's
fans.
just building,
Yeah,
and building.
There are going to be some prolific writers that'll eventually see this and go, yeah, I know exactly what Michael's talking about. But this is mainly directed to the people that are just getting started. And
Yeah,
this is all
sure.
great advice to actually get out there. And it's been a tough year to actually go out there and get out there and rub shoulders with people and say, hey, you think we could get together and write a song?
Yeah, that's right.
But that's really the way to do it. And, as far as learning to play guitar, I always went out to clubs and watched people and looked at the pedals that they had, watched the fingers.
Yes.
And never really paid a lot of attention to the actual songwriting part of it. I was just too busy trying to learn guitar licks. But I try to work on that now.
Right.
And people
in
getting
your
into the business.
band, do you write a lot of the songs that are in your band?
My earlier band that when I was playing in LA and in Toronto, it was maybe half or less than half.
Okay.
It kind of depended. The drummer that I was playing with was a very prolific writer. He was just putting out a lot of stuff.
Fantastic.
A lot of great ideas. He would write a lot of songs on guitar. Being a drummer that wasn't really playing a lot of guitar,
right?
He played things that I wouldn't have thought of. Like that. Wow, he's playing that all wrong, and then I would play it, and I'd go, "This is brilliant." I never would have come up with this. He's such a great writer for rock songs and things that we did. But it started out with the two of us getting together and putting on. We would play. We put on records by Styx and Queen. He played Striper, songs by Bread, and all these different influences that really had great melodies, but then at the time it just had these screaming guitars and stuff behind it.
Yeah.
And so that was
the actual
focus.
Bread, the old poppy thing from way back when.
Yeah.
Wow. And
David Gates.
What did you play? Yeah. With it was by Bread.
I think actually what he was showing me was a melody from one of David's songs that was similar to a Striper song.
Okay.
The Christian band Striper.
Sure. Yeah.
And it. I guess one of the things that we would do is we would go to clubs and see these bands that were just on our level, just like these garage bands that we're now playing in clubs. And we would hear a song, and it seemed very derivative, and we're like, "Oh, they just ripped off a Judas Priest song." Song?
Well, that's because you're knowledgeable about this, and because you love it. That's the bottom line with this stuff: is that you have always loved music, and you gravitate towards musicians and people that are doing that stuff, and you go see the stuff, and it all just kind of goes from there. You found your friends; they found you, the rock god guitarist that you are, and so and what happens is then you form a band and everybody moves on. Some people are more devoted to it than others, and things start to form from there. Yeah.
It's the formative years, doing your homework.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe it took about 5 years before we did
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. Sure.
Toronto and LA, they're 5-year towns. LA is probably a 4-week
Oh
town.
my God. LA, I can't even imagine what it's like over there.
You get a band together, and if you don't have a record deal in 7 months, then you're like, this is no good. I quit. People have no patience. And then the people that are actually like getting higher and higher. This is back in like the mid '80s, late '80s. They'd be like lining up. Okay, is it my turn to be famous?
Okay.
Okay, my turn. They get MTV rotation and
Right.
get played and stuff.
Right.
But back then it was just I had to focus on how to play stuff and how to do new tricks on the guitar and stuff, and a lot of the actual songwriting structure and like, oh, let's try this new chord change, and cadences and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The guy that I was writing with, and then the singer that we got was doing a lot of really clever stuff with melodies and things like that. So I was kind of like the finisher. I would go in there and they'd have these raw ideas and they'd go, can you put a lead on top of that, or you need a bridge, that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And I would put in my 2 cents. And sometimes it would be brilliant, and other times, it would be somebody else's song. So, but that's what you got to do. You just got to keep doing it. Find people and work with them.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just hang in there. And it's sure. It's not about the money, is it? There's no money. I got to say that the people who are surviving in this business, who are making decent money, it's maybe 2 or 3%. There's money to be made. You can make a living at it. Something, I'm making a living as a musician and have been for a long time now. But I got to say that my overhead is very, very small. And I love doing what it is that I do, but it's, I've got friends who really make a living at this, and it's a good thing. But even those guys, the whole reason they ever started doing it is because of their love for it, and it filled up a hole in their lives that nothing else could. And a lot of times I'll forget that. I forget why I'm doing this. I'll have anxiety about all the crap that is involved in this stuff. And then I remember, and then you just kind of like, you might sit down with your guitar and you just kind of do this a little bit. And you go, oh, that's right, I remember now. Or you hear a song that you never knew that you could play. And then you realize I see, it's just the same 3 or 4 chords here. And you learn it again. It's like, I love this. I love doing this. This has been my friend and companion for forever. Yeah.
Yeah, the growing process. You go through these stages, like you were mentioning, where you find a song and like, oh, now I can play it.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I started out with an old acoustic guitar. It was a Kasuga. It was a copy of I guess it was the D28.
Okay, yeah.
The big Martin that everyone wants to get. And it was a cheap Japanese copy of that. My parents got it for me in '79. And so I would put records on, and I would try to learn these songs. And they're all rock records, so they're all playing electric guitar. So they're playing stuff above the 14th fret. And they're doing bends. And I remember listening to Boys in the Bright White Sports Car by a Canadian band called Trooper. And part of the guitar solo has this thing where they're doing like a bend of like a full stop, full tone bend. They bend up to a note, and then they go up, and they bend up to another note, and they go up, and they bend up to another note.
Yeah.
And I thought, how is he doing that on a guitar?
Yeah.
All I ever had was an acoustic guitar.
Right,
so
right.
Here I am practicing on an acoustic guitar, like way up the top, and I couldn't do it. So I would just kind of transpose it down and try to bend. And maybe he's sliding. I don't know. Maybe obviously it's just bending. It's got electric strings.
Sure.
Up. And for the longest time, I worked on that. And I worked on it, and I tried to get my hand to actually to do that, and could never do it. And then I got my hands on an electric guitar, and like oh, that's how he does it. He's got an electric
Exactly.
guitar. The strings are like wah, wah, like that. But by then, I had been playing this song,
Exactly.
working on it that
Yeah.
way, and I thought, well,
Yeah.
I guess that helped. It was a lot of
Exactly.
frustration learning how to do it on the wrong instrument, and then I got an electric guitar, and I could play the song.
Yeah.
I had to relearn how to do it on an electric guitar, but
Sure.
wow, so much easier playing an electric guitar song than on an acoustic with big, thick, heavy strings. And then my fingers back then didn't have calluses, so
Sure.
sometimes it's good to go back. You learn some other things, and that's good with getting together with somebody new. You get a different perspective on. You play that song differently,
Right.
probably correctly, and let me learn it from you.
Right. Or vice versa.
You
Yeah.
learn all kinds of things that way.
Yeah.
So
Just, I mean, early on, just trying to, there's your C, and it's kind of like, now you go to a D. It's like, how in the hell is that possible? And then you finally get it. It's like, oh my God, it's a miracle.
yeah, my big cheater thing was to do that fifth root thing with chords, like that.
Okay, yeah.
And so I could be doing these chords that were jumping.
Oh,
all
yeah,
over.
sure.
And I could do these fast chord changes, and it didn't matter if it was major or minor. At least I was doing the root of chord. So that got me through a lot of the initial rock playing. Where it was, just had to.
Are you a fan of Wes Montgomery? You know Wes Montgomery?
I couldn't say I was
Yeah.
to
He's a jazz guy.
to say like, oh yeah, I listen to his stuff, but
Yeah.
there's like the long list of names of people that I need to listen
did
to.
a lot of those. A lot of octave stuff.
I've probably ripped off stuff by people that ripped him off. So it's
That's
like
right.
a couple of
That's
degrees separation.
Yeah. Oh my God. And you're right. It has been a hierarchy of ripping off Charlie Christian, down to Hendrix, down to all the way on down the line for grooves.
Yeah, and the growth of the musician. One thing that I never really got was when I was younger, probably in my teens, and I heard about Hendrix, and I thought, well, I hear a couple of cool songs on the radio. I guess he's okay, and I guess he had already passed by then. But everyone was talking about like all this amazing music and what kind of a guitar player he was. I'm like, yeah, but I'm listening to Kiss right now, and Van Halen just came out, and then starting to listen to Black Sabbath and Ozzy and stuff like that.
Sure.
And then Malmsteen and my biggest influence has always been Randy Rhoads ever since I discovered him. Biggest big Randy Rhoads fan. And then in the last couple of years, I started listening to a lot older stuff and some more recent stuff, and then I'm like, oh, let's put this Hendrix song on, and I'm listening to it, and I was thinking, I never really paid attention to what he was playing, maybe in a context of what was happening at the time and what was happening right before that.
Exactly.
And when you compare what he's doing, let's say in the middle section of Purple Haze,
Right.
to what, let's say, Eric Johnson was doing back in the mid 80s, you're like, I think I'll listen to Eric Johnson. But
Right. There was nobody
he
doing what
was
Hendrix was
influenced
doing.
by Hendrix.
Yeah. Exactly.
Partially.
Yeah.
I think everybody was.
Yeah. There wouldn't be an Eddie Van Halen if it wasn't for Hendrix.
Yeah. You listen to that, and I was floored. Just especially when you listen to the music that was happening then, and the jumps that he made, and the incredible playing that he was doing, and the fact that he could just the recordings that you have of him just scratch the surface of the talent that guy has.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So.
He was dead at 27.
Yeah.
So it's like you had to have been playing all the time to have gotten to that place. The film of him playing at Woodstock, that is a lesson in performance professionalism. It sounds cliche because everybody knows about Hendrix at Woodstock, but when you can find his entire set and watch what it is that he's doing with the band that he has, that he only had for about a week or so. He threw it together for that thing. It's unbelievable to watch what this guy and how loose he is, how confident he is in what it is that he's doing. It's just, it's beautiful. It's inspiring to watch somebody so centered in their element there.
And it's amazing to you know, I haven't played a lot of big places, but after a while, you know, just with a bar band that I was with, we were practically on the road 6 nights a week for 9 months, and it got to the point where I was so comfortable with the set that I could take a nap half an hour before we go on. Like, oh, it's going to be a long night. I can take a nap. I'd wake up, I'm like, okay, I'm all ready, and I'd do some warm-ups and tune up and everything. I'd go and play. And, you know, we'd always want to do the same show no matter what. Like, if you're playing for 4 people or if you're playing for, like, 45 or 400, we'd always want to put on a great show. And so I would always think, well, if I had to play in front of 4,000 people, or in a situation where there's, like, you know, Woodstock, it'd be great. I can handle it, no problem. And then you see, like, you know, Queen playing at Wembley or Woodstock, where Hendrix is playing. You just see this hills and hills of people. I'm thinking, okay, I'd probably shake up then. It'd be a little bit different. But to me, I would always, in big crowds, I would focus on the first couple of rows of people. And my trick was I'd focus on them, but I'd look above them, because if I actually looked at them, I'd get nervous. Depending on what I'm doing. It is hard to look at people. It gets very personal when you look at people and play it. When you see something like this. So, what does it say? It's I think the fans are asking for a song. Oh, okay. We've been chatting about music and songwriting, and thank you, fan. All right, let's see. What's a good thing here? You know, I forgot to bring my capo. Would you like a capo? No, that's okay. That's okay. There probably aren't any capos around here. Just being 10 feet away from a guitar store, I'll just find something that doesn't need a capo. Okay, let's see here. Well, you know what? I'm going to step off while you play. All right, great, great, great. Distracting you. And while I'm doing that, I'll grab a capo for your other song. Great. Let's see here. What's a good song? Oh, gracious. Well, you know what? This is actually, this is not on any of my records or stuff. It's a song that I wrote with Becca Stevens. It's really strange. I just happen to have this from, I'm trying to learn this for tomorrow. But, oh, thank you, sir. Oh, you know what? I'll tell you what. I got a capo here. Thank you, sir. Great. Let me just play a little bit of this. This is not mine. Y'all will recognize this. I can find this here. Yeah. And I'll play this because I love these chords in this thing. Ooh, back upon my cares and woe, feeling low, here I go. Bye, bye, blackbird. It's always good to be in tune, too, with your, that's close enough. Ooh, there's so many ways for me, sugar sweet, and so is she. Bye, bye, blackbird. Nobody seems to love or understand me. All the hard luck stories that they hand me, where somebody shines a light. I'll be coming home tonight, blackbird. Bye bye.
Nobody seems to love or understand me. All the hard luck stories that they hand me, where somebody shines the light. I love this cool. I'll be coming home tonight. Blackbird, bye bye. That's an old song. Yeah, it goes back way back. Everybody's done that. Let's see here. What's something else that's interesting you guys might be interested in? There's a song called "Spanish is the Loving Tongue," and I believe this was written by Charles Badger Clark in 1907. It was just a cowboy poem. The guy was a cowboy, and he wrote this. And it's about a guy who's in love with somebody across the border. Obviously, from a cowboy's perspective. Let me see if I can bring. Somebody eventually put chords to this. Spanish is the loving tongue, soft as springtime, light as spring. 'Twas a girl I learned it from, living down Sonora way. Now I don't look much like a lover, still I hear her love words over. Mostly when I'm all alone, mi amor, mi corazón, means my love, my heart. There were nights when I would write, she would listen for my spurs, to fling that big door open wide and raise those laughing eyes of hers. And how the night would get you flying all too soon. I hear her sighing, please don't leave me all alone, mi amor, mi corazón. And then there's another verse, but it's just, you get the idea. Yeah. If you just find a nice pattern like that, it can go on forever. But yeah, all that stuff is sheer sweetness. So, Kevin, thank you so much for having me here. Do you need some more, or you want to?
I was wondering,
yeah,
if you could do one of your songs.
All right, let's see here. What's a good one? Let's see what we can do. We shall do. What have we got here? You know what? This is something. See if I can remember how this is. This is called.
Are you using a stand for this one?
What?
Are you using a stand for this one?
I don't need a stand.
If you can lower it just a little
Sure.
bit. I'll do it.
Hopefully I can. Oh, yeah. Sure, that's good. Or
Oh, okay.
Long ago there was a time when letting go was just another line. ease your worried mind. Evenings by the radio, dialing in the midnight show. By now I'm getting better with goodbye. Better with these empty mouths, better with a stranger's smile, better with this love you took away. Last night, you know, I didn't even cry. Getting better with goodbye. Yesterday is just another day, like any other day on this highway, getting lost along the way. Driving by the highway signs, counting birds on power lines at sunset, getting closer all the time. Closer to these empty miles, closer to a stranger's smile, farther from this love you took away. Last night, you know, I didn't even cry. Getting better with This is where Kevin's solo would be. Long ago, there was a time when letting go was just another line to ease your worried mind. Now it's time to say goodnight to all the times that you and I together, getting better with goodbye. Better with these empty mouths, better with a stranger's smile, better with this love you took away. Last night, you know, I didn't even cry. Getting better with goodbye. Last night, you know, I didn't even cry. Getting better with goodbye. Better with goodbye. I'm getting better with goodbye. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
On your new show.
That's amazing. Thank you very much. So, everybody, that was Michael Kelsh.
Appreciate it.
Here on Fairview Live at Fairview Arts Council. You're going to have to come back and do this again?
I'll be glad to. Now, I'm going to go back to the green room and get some stuff off the catering table.
Okay.
And appreciate the cinematographer and everybody for having us here. You're the best. Take care.